Hello ladies and gentlemen, SeKo Starcraft back after a long day of doing work around my house and I'm tired, so I decided to play some StarCraft. Here's some replays from the games that I was playing recently. We have XXPNXX, that's the clan, apparently. Hovia versus Omniscient, playing as a Terran. Do try to mix up my Terran and Zerg play a fair bit still. I haven't really picked up protoss a lot. But I really enjoy playing against protoss. Either they play a normal straight up game and they end up beating me a lot of the time, or they try to do something a little bit more funky and I end up beating them. That's a cool pattern. Looks like he's got everything covered there. Looks like it is going to end down here, so I wonder if that was for him going for some sort of proxy. For me, I'm going to be sending out a early scout off to the other side because I'm actually, yeah, current events. I am in Gold League right now because I started a new season and it deemed me ready for Gold League. Which is fine. I don't mind that at all. That usually means that it's a few games for me playing in here before I have the opportunity to just get moved back up into the other one. So I don't really feel sad when it moves me down. It does that just about every single time a new season starts because I only play maybe a few games per season. I'm chasing around that probe to make sure it isn't going to proxy me. I go onto the base and I'm going to look. I see a pretty delayed gas. That gas is super delayed, so I'm sure he's going to be expanding. That's what my gut is telling me. That's what I believe in my heart to be true. So I'm going to listen to my heart. So I'm going to block his expansion then. I believe he can squeeze his Nexus off tilt. If he was a Terran, I mean, I never block Terran because it doesn't make sense. If you're a Zerg, you can block Terran. But against a Protoss, they're not going to move their Nexus off pixel to do that. And this makes it harder for him to scout it as he runs by. His probe does continue down here to the bottom. The longer that this is not attacked is the longer that I am certain that he is going to be either cheesing me or putting on really early pressure. So I'm starting to make my Marines, my SCVs back. This SCV is going to start heading home. Does not finish making the engineering bay. I was debating whether it'd be worth it just so that way I could throw up a missile turret at home off of that engineering bay. Hindsight, it might have worked. This probe is obviously committed to doing something suspicious down here. And as I've said in other videos, this is where Protoss are generally going to cheese from. This is generally where Terran are going to cheese from, is in this area here. So I could have scouted that. But instead, I just decide that he is going to attack me, and if I beat it, I'll be in a good position. So I'm making lots of Marines, trying to keep up on my supply, and just working on my economy. On his side, we see the infamous 4-gate, which I actually haven't gone up against in a while. It's usually been 3-gate play or something like that. 3-gate's the new 4-gate, don't you know? Tons of Chrono Boost saved up. He's going to be using it on his gateways to get out max units and max power. I'm throwing down a bunker because I know that pressure is coming. I'm throwing down an actual engineering bay, and this is what I was talking about, debating whether I should have just finished this, because I thought maybe he might be going for oracles. Might be going for oracle play. But, obviously we can see here, that is not the case. Now, I'm waiting for this energy to build up, and I'll be going for a scan more than likely really soon. Still producing Marines and SCVs. Trying to keep out of my supply depots. Factory on the way, because if you get tanks out, usually pretty good. There's my scan. There's my 4-gate. I'll pause for a second. I am like the best at sniffing out 4-gates. This is probably your biggest test. When you walk in right away, I mean, they can disguise it in different methods. As I'd seen before, he took really late gas. And he's only even got 1 gas. So that doesn't necessarily tell me what's going on. This is probably your biggest key. If he has not expanded or tried to destroy this, he's going to be attacking you. What he's attacking you with is a different story, and that's why I scanned, whether it's a robo up here, maybe there's a hidden starport. If you come up here and you see like 1 gateway and a cybernetics core, it's probably a proxy starport. In this case, he is just dropping pylons around. So this, blocking that against a Protoss, usually tells you so often whether or not you're going to be attacked early on. For his side, I mean, this is fairly textbook 4-gate. He's got these stalkers at home that he was keeping just for defense, I'm assuming. 4 stalkers out. Now he should be moving all of his gateways over. Did he just chrono boost his cyber core again? Okay, maybe this guy was high. There he goes. So because of that, I've got a second bunker going down. More Marines coming out. I'm throwing a bunker in the back. The reason I'm throwing the bunker in the back is I saw nothing but stalkers from him. So it's possible he may have hit a Twilight Council and be going for a blink play. It's very common on this map to blink into the base this way. So I wanted to have a bunker there to do any type of run-betweens with. So if we look at the units tab, I do have a pretty good economic lead right now, and I'm still producing SCVs at the same time. Next bunker's finished. This guy is throwing down a turret in case of DTs. I say it, I'm playing safe. Lots and lots of firepower here. One zealot in the front. For getting against a wall off, generally you want to have 3 or 4 zealots in the front if it's a full wall off, just so they can tank the damage better than your stalkers do. They don't have the same HP, so I think he probably should have waited for one more round of warp-ins, and he might have done a bit better. Nice pull off the line for me to quickly repair. He's going to try to snipe some buildings down here, but he's still getting attacked. So he actually lost quite a few stalkers in this. Great repairs by Shawnee. So tanks are on the way. I got +1 attack from my Marines, getting another gas. In my mind, I could go for another command center, which I will shortly, but I'm actually more interested in going for a counter push. Specifically, depending on this here. If he wants to expand, as I am denying him, I know that I can go for an attack. He lost almost all of his units, so for him to expand right now will be taking up all of his resources, so I should be able to attack fairly easily. So I have a starport going down, more Marines, and still cruising away on my units. The guy's got a pretty big block. Yeah, now he's producing more probes, but once again, I got a pretty big lead on that, and tanks out, so I'm pretty safe against any more pressure, which I'm certain he's not going to do. He does go for a Nexus down here. I've seen this happen by a lot of Protoss players. When they get blocked, they'll just go and take this base, hoping to be able to defend in between. And I'm kind of hoping he does that, because I know he's not going to be able to have the units required to stop what I have coming at him. Particularly as I got, +1 on my Marines already, which is nice. A couple more barracks going down at the same time as my command center. I'm going to go and attack as I expand, put the pressure on him, and depending if it works or not, salvaging bunkers I don't need, I will be going for a little bit heavier pressure. So, robo facility, going into some fairly standard play at this point, but once again he's not made a single more unit since then. He's actually going to double expand, which I think makes no sense at all. He's not going to be able to support and defend both of these regardless. Waiting for another tank and some more Marines. I was considering making a Raven for the point defense drone against the stalkers, but it would take way too much of my gas. As you can see, my minerals right now, I've got a lot of minerals saved up, but once my barracks are finished, I'm going to be pumping out a lot of Marines really quickly. Twilight. See, this is kind of weird. I mean, you got the 4-gate up. There isn't much use tacking onto these other types while you're trying to expand. You've got to pick one thing and be good at it. He picked the 4-gate, and it didn't work, so he's going to expand. So great, take an expansion and just do a good job at it. If you want to tech up and go for a second all-in, sweet. Go get a Dark Shrine or get out some Immortals or something like that, or maybe even a Warp Prism and do that. But you can't afford to really do all these different things at once and be good at them. Now I feel pretty good to move out. It's going to be expanding at the same time. Starting to produce more Marines, more tanks. And I've actually got this giant pile of minerals, so I'm actually just going to throw down a 3rd CC. I should throw down a bunch more barracks. Depending on how my attack does, that's more than likely what I'm going to do. I was hoping that if he had observers, they would get picked off by my missile turrets over here. And unfortunately, he's going to exactly know what's coming at him right now. One more tank and Marine following it up. And his pylon is blocking me. Making Widow Mines and Medevacs standard units after this. 2 observers out. And he's getting out of Robo Bay. See, this is what I'm talking about by too much tech. If he didn't make these, and actually made another couple of Warpanes of Zealots, maybe canceled one of these Nexus, he might have 8 Zealots and 5 or 6 Stalkers, and that might be enough to close down the gap on this. This is only, was that 14 Marines, plus 1 Marines, and 3 tanks. A couple more coming. So if you get on top of that and you get the right kind of attack, you might be able to hold it off. I scanned to see the expansion here. I also saw a probe move down here, so I know that he's double expanded. So I'm just going to go find a good position, siege up. I see the Stalkers coming in from behind. And yeah, he just leaves the game. Nothing fancy about that. It's more about identifying the 4-gate once again. I mean, this block, this wasn't in his intention, but it does slow me down a little bit, and I have this money that I should be spending. But this kind of attack, it was a calculated risk that I was sure was going to pay off because I knew it was going to expand. And that's real. Intel is kind of the moral of the story here. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Should have some more of my replays coming at you real soon.